Unit 12. Intercultural Communication. The 21st century world has become a diverse community as a result of rapid change in the global economy, technology and transportation. There has been more content among people who are from different religious, social, ethnic and educational backgrounds. Therefore, intercultural communication plays an important role in diverse cultural contexts. Interculture communication is a discipline that studies communication across different cultures and social groups, or how culture affects communication. When we deal with people from different cultures, intercultural conflicts and misunderstandings may arise from difference in cultural values and traditional practices. Study the following blog posts to see how different your backgrounds lead to certain conflicts and misunderstandings that affect communication. Blog post 1. The culture of saving face. Under the Japanese Exchange and Teaching (JET) program, Megan, an Australian teacher, was excited to have challenging experiences in Japan. After traveling her first lecture, she asked her Japanese colleagues for some suggestions on her lecture. Did it work? Did the activity go well? She didn't receive any negative comments. No one said no to her directly. No, she has been in Japan for 2 months and she hasn't heard the word, i.e., no. What an exciting experience for her. As can be seen in blog post 1, Japanese people feed that saying no directly with impress others or even make them lose face. They usually use many other subtle expressions such as maybe, or perhaps, instead of saying no. For Megan, she is ready to welcome any useful suggestions even if they hurt her feelings. Blog post 2. The role of gender in society. Jose Watts, a newly arrived Brazilian international student on campus. After a few weeks in the USA, Emma, a classmate, asked him, "Jose, what are your plans for this weekend? Let's hang out." Jose was surprised at her respite to go out and dance. He was hesitate to respond to it. In the meanwhile, Emma felt awkward. She made it an excuse and left. Jose realized that he had annoyed her. For Jose, in his homeland Brazil, it is unusual for a woman to start asking for a date. Not knowing the fact that it is the man who initiates a dating request in Brazil, Emma asked for a date first. In her community, it is just a casual invitation to have a friendly chat just to have pure fun and get to know each other more. Blog post 3. The use of nonverbal communication in different cultures. James and his Italian friend were watching the college football match between the University of Oklahoma, OU, and the University of Texas at Austin. During the match, the OU fans held up their index finger, which means, "We are number one." The Texas fans held up the index finger and the little finger, which means, "Hook'em, horns," referring to their mascot, the Longhorn. Hook'em, horns, can be broadly interpreted as, defeat them. To an Italian, those gestures mean very different. The first one, holding up the index finger, is an offensive manner, and the second one, holding up the index finger and the little finger, is one of the worst insults for an Italian man. It can be seen in blog post 3 that people from different cultural backgrounds communicate their thoughts and emotions differently by means of nonverbal communication, such as facial expressions and gestures. Just can be different from one culture to another. This means that a gesture which is acceptable in one culture may not be tolerated in another. Blog post 4. Naming systems in different cultures. Lee Yu-mi, a Korean student, came to Myanmar under the 𝐔𝐧𝐢𝐭 overseas volunteer program and became friends with 𝐔𝐧𝐢𝐭, a teenage girl. Neither of them could speak the other's language. However, communication was going well as they could communicate with each other in English. 𝐔𝐧𝐢 addressed Lee Yu_me as Lee Yu, and the latter called 𝐔𝐧𝐢𝐭. A few weeks later, the Korean girl said, "I feel a bit uncomfortable when you call me Lee. That is my family name. Please call me Yu_me." Is a member, who is learning English as a following language. She thought that her family name might be the last name, and the Korean girl also, as in her own culture, the family name of her Myanmar friend is 𝐔𝐧𝐢. Each of them realized that the guesses were wrong and then became comfortable and happy with the name they wanted to be called. In blog post 4, the two girls from different lands make wrong guesses about how a person should be addressed as they did not realize that it culture has his own naming system. All these blog posts show that people from different cultures communicate messages and perceive the world around them differently. Intercultural communication involves not only an interaction between people from different countries but also communication between subgroups or ethnic groups within the same country. There are also differences in various aspects of culture, values, beliefs, rituals, norms, language and symbols. Intercultural conflicts and misunderstandings may all go as a result of these differences. To avert faux pas, or social blunder, in any international communication, intercultural awareness should be raised. This should certainly reduce social conflicts when two or more people of different nationalities or ethnic groups came into contact.